Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, folks. Michael Zuber, one rental at a time. So I wanted to record a very quick kind of overview of Friday, December 16th. What were the kind of 5 important things that I saw on Friday? First and foremost, I think the big thing of the day is Goldman Sachs is going to be cutting 8% of their headcount. Remember, we've been talking about on this channel for quite a while now, a white collar recession. Called out tech and called out kind of Wall Street and finance. I think you see it now when Goldman Sachs is cutting 8% in quote unquote the best of the best. You can expect JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, Bank of America, Citi, and the list goes on and on. Feel more and more confident about the white collar recession, unfortunately. But again, get close to revenue is my advice I've been giving you for the last 6 months or so. So again, I expect to see some significant cuts, probably as soon as January. They might bleed into February, but certainly in Q1, you are going to see organizations realize what is going on, that they overhired, that the work from home idea, as Mark Benioff says, is not working. So you're going to see a lot of things change. Next up, the crypto world, and specifically Binance and crypto.com and someone else. They got the Heisman from their quote unquote auditor. First and foremost, it really wasn't their auditor. That's what they were positioning to the man and woman on the street. Essentially, this audit firm, Mazars Group, I think out of France, basically came in and tried to provide an overview of basically what they had. It wasn't an audit. It wasn't ticked and tied. It wasn't liabilities. So it was one thing and positioned as another. And basically what the company said is we're not dealing with them anymore. And they deleted the audit from the public record. So if you had a URL, it is no longer there. It's a pretty big deal. This organization, near as I can tell, it's very well respected in Europe, and they didn't want their reputation. For those folks probably younger than 40, we talk about there's a big accounting four in the United States. Did you know there used to be a big six? One of those big six was called Arthur Andersen. Arthur Andersen was a huge organization, and unfortunately, one of their audits was Enron, and it turned out to be a total fraud. And that reputation hit, liability, put them out of business. All those great people at Arthur Andersen, 90% of them were wonderful, hardworking. A couple of them got caught up in the Enron fraud, and it took the entire company down. So that's what I think Mazars Group was basically worried about, is if they got entangled in what is proving to be very messy, and it was a quote unquote audit that they put their name behind, they could be in real trouble. So again, that is a big deal we read about on Friday. Next up, home flippers. And I will probably talk to Jason later today about this. He is the best of the best in the business in California. Home flippers are losing money. The article I read talked about gross profit falling 18.4%. It talked about being down 7.5%. Home flips being only 7.5% of the market, down from 8.3%. They talked about gross profits being 62K. I got to tell you, that's a BS number. There is a big difference between gross profit and net profit. And one of the things I hope to do today with Jason is I'm going to pull up an Excel spreadsheet, and he and I are going to walk through some numbers and show you how the average flipper lost money in Q3. Flipping is not easy. Unfortunately, as you heard Omar and I say for the last 2 years, it was remarkably easy. Any idiot could flip properties. And unfortunately, that's no longer true. You have to be a good operator. I think what you're going to see over the next year or so is good operators thrive and everybody else leaves the business. And that doesn't include flipper, and that doesn't only include flippers. That includes real estate investors of all kinds. That includes private companies of all kinds. That includes crypto of all kinds. That includes public companies of all kinds. If you are a focused operator and you produce positive cash flow and profit, and that's where your focus is, you're good. If you focus on growth and revenue at any cost, you're done. So there's going to be a lot of pain. Student loan forgiveness is going to the Supreme Court. It will be very, very interesting. Again, I am not a lawyer, nor do I pretend to know one. But last I checked, the president of the United States, whether Republican or Democrat, does not have the power to allocate spending. It is my understanding that that is a function of Congress. So it will be very interesting to see if our president overstepped his bounds again. I believe this is the third thing that goes to the Supreme Court, and so far 0 for 2, so we shall see. Lastly, we had some earnings last week, or on Friday, sorry. Darden Restaurants beat top, beat bottom, and raised guidance. That's very interesting, right? They're a casual dining. We had Accenture beat top, beat bottom, but gave weak guidance. Accenture is an interesting one to look at. They are kind of my arbinger of the world economy. And if they're giving you a weak guidance, you can bet that it's getting tough out there. Winnebago beat top, beat bottom, but profit warning or lower guidance. So I should say, or lower guidance. Adobe came out, gave good earnings, beat top, beat bottom, and upped guidance. Adobe had a rough quarter the quarter before. And then finally, U.S. Steel. Man, I don't know that I've ever talked about U.S. Steel. U.S. Steel actually said U.S. demand for steel is on the upswing. This is back to my structural inflation. I believe we are going to have inflation as we build more manufacturing. Those plants are built with steel and frame and things of that nature. So lots and lots of stuff going on. That was the update for Friday, December 16th. Have an amazing day.